Hey everyone, we want to give you an update on a story that all media covered in the days after the University of Idaho student murders back in 2022. Remember the Australian Shepherd dog named Buddy that was found skinned just 3 miles from the Moscow, Idaho crime scene? Well, we finally have an update. The interview room finally got a copy of the police report. We had been asking for this police report for almost 3 years now, and the Latah County Sheriff's Office just released it. So, if you're unfamiliar with the story of this dog skinning incident, let me just give you just some quick facts. So, on October 20th, 2022, a couple who lives in Moscow, Idaho, found that their dog, Buddy, an Australian Shepherd, was found skinned. They were absolutely horrified. And you know what? This is such a horrific thing and so grotesque to think about. Some of you may know that Chris and I, our dog is actually named Buddy, and we love dogs. We love all animals. And so a story like this really is just so horrific. And so the reason this came to be news is that we found this out just days, if not weeks, after the murders at 1122 King Road. Now, at the time, Moscow Police Department came out and said that this dog skinning incident was not related to the murders at the off-campus house at University of Idaho. And so we thought, okay, well, if they're not related, then we'd like a copy of the police report on this. Well, we were told no, that it was still under investigation. And I'd say we probably reached out to Latah County Sheriff's Office at least 2 or 3 times over the course of the last 2.5+ years asking for the report. Well, they literally just sent it to us. So we wanted to share what's in this report with you guys.
Yeah, and it was closed. I just got in here, sorry. It was closed, this report that they sent us. First of all, look at it. It's an incident report. It's not a crime. It's just an incident that occurred.
And we should
So,
probably say right up front, so much has been redacted in this report
yeah, of
that
course.
it makes it really hard to follow. Now, luckily, large media outlets covered this case, and we actually have way more information about this horrific dog skinning incident out in the news media than we do in this report. But we want to take you through the report that we just got so you guys can see what we're looking at.
Yeah, and the nature of this incident, they called it an animal problem. I mean, they have a dog out there that's been skinned, and I guess in Latah County, that's only a problem. Uh,
And I should say part of the story was that this older couple who freely gave interviews to the media right after this happened, or I should say, um, not right after it happened, but after the student murders happened, and people were asking the question of whether these could be related. And this couple said that they've had this dog, Buddy. It's a mini Australian Shepherd. They had him for 5 years. And this woman's husband would let the dog out late at night or like around 2 a.m. And so on this particular day, the father walked out and he let the dog out. And the dog barked once and then ran like out into the woods behind their house. Well, it was typical, she said, that number one, they didn't lock their doors, I guess during the day. And number two, it wasn't unusual for the dog to come back like in the early morning. But that day when this happened, they went looking for the dog. The dog didn't come back by himself in the morning. And she called some friends of theirs. They went looking for the dog, and then they found the dog, I want to say around 2 in the afternoon. This dog had been skinned and a sharp knife was used. That's what's in the report. We're going to get to it. And so obviously this happened like 3 weeks before the murders on King Road. And so a lot of people had a lot of questions. Could this be related? Now, Moscow PD, I'm going to reiterate at the time, said there's no connection between this particular incident and the murders. But, Chris, my obvious question is, well, then why did they take 3 years to release it? Why did they wait so long to release it?
That is a great question, and it is unanswered at this point. If it's not related in any way, shape, or form. And by the way, these are the types of behaviors that you would expect in a sexual serial fantasy homicide prior to the incident, because there are certain indicators that you would want to pay attention to before any major incident, such as the four students. And this is one of those situations that we pointed out a long time ago with Greg, with Gary, with Dean, myself, Dr. Burgess, etc. And we said, well, these are the type of things that we would want to know, and how far this is from the crime scene. So my question is, and the address has been blacked out here, as you can see here. However, I'm curious if this isn't off the route that Brian Koberger had been driving, that they knew, the cops knew, and that wherever this dog was found, Buddy, the dog, if it wasn't off of the route that Brian Koberger, of the 23 times that he went to the house, and then ultimately his escape route, if this incident had not occurred off of that route somewhere. If it had, then obviously this is a huge red flag, and whether they could connect him to it or not is obviously, speculation at this point. However, if in fact it's on his route, you would want to work really hard to eliminate him as the possible connection to this. And maybe that's an explanation as to why they held it for 3 years. I don't know. I, like you, Karen, I think it was really suspicious that now the case is adjudicated and you've been trying for all these years to get this, and now all of a sudden it just shows up in your in basket. I mean, what's up with that?
Yeah, right. I know. And let's go through the report. Let's actually see what the sheriff's deputy wrote at the time he took the report. And while we're doing that, I think it's also worth noting that this couple who had their dog skinned, by the way, they reported at the time that I think it was about 2 weeks before that incident happened, they found a rabbit, what they believed was a rabbit that was also skinned and left for dead on their property. So that would make two incidences in the month of October of 2022. And that is part of, the story of this particular case as well. It's not mentioned in the report, but the woman said it on several media interviews, which we went back and took a look at. So, Chris,
Go
let's
ahead.
see what the report says.
So it was reported October 20th, 2022. But the interesting thing is it was closed November 8th, 2022. So 5 days before the homicide. Okay.
Yeah, and again, the obvious question, if this has been dispositioned and it's closed, why would they not release it for 3 years? That's the
Well,
piece of this that just doesn't make sense.
right. And you have the earlier incidents. Now, we don't know for sure that he was, you know, that he could have done this one, but remember the incident with the girl in the cars and her underwear found in the door, and the cops wrote that off as a, quote, prank of some sort, but they don't have any identification, or they didn't write a report or anything like that. But we have the body cam, the body worn camera footage that was shown. And everybody said, well, he wasn't in that area at that time. However, he was remote. and he was remotely working into getting into the university. And so we don't know for sure if he was or was not in the area. We know that he had the possibility to remote in via the internet into the area. And we also are now hearing that his father with him had been in the area looking for places to live. Okay. And when you see the behavior, such as the other roommate, where he has put a camera potentially in her apartment, remember that situation. And now we have two females, driver's license co-workers, that the authorities have now revealed that they were co-workers of his, and they're not sure how he got, well, I don't know if they're driver's license, they're two ID cards.
Right, and those were from when he worked at that school. So those were IDs from several years prior and
Right,
not from Washington State University for him for
right,
his time there. Mhm.
right. And so what that does is it gives us a propensity to show the embryo making of somebody who's a collector, the helper. I'm going to call him the helper. Okay. Just like, Xana heard, or excuse me, that Dylan heard, I'm here to help you. He's the helper, and so one has to say, okay, well, that's a really interesting situation. And now we have this incident that occurs, or that had occurred in Latah County. And I'm going to go ahead and read some of the narrative. And I'm going to give you a warning. This is pretty crazy. But it says October 20th, 2022, at approximately 17:46 hours, I was advised of suspicious activity at, and then everything's deleted out. I was informed by dispatch that according to the reporting party, later identified, her neighbor discovered blank, it probably said her dog, in a nearby Quonset hut, and it had been skinned but not eaten. So I was also informed that the dog's face and legs were intact and not skinned. I arrived at the scene at approximately 16 hours. I interviewed blank and her neighbor blank blank, who resided at blank blank blank. According to blank, she already buried the dog. I asked if I could see the dog and take pictures of it. Uh, I asked if she had any enemies who might be responsible. Blank did not answer the question, but blank replied. Blank grabbed a shovel to dig the animal out. I interviewed while was digging the dog out, according to redacted. She but mentioned that was upset that, according to blank, she did not want me to interview blank because she did not want to accuse her without any evidence. So the RP, the owner of the dog, is saying it could have been a female, but I don't want to accuse her just in case. Okay, so it sounds like the owner was having an argument with something, and somebody connected to this female potentially uh, was the first impression from the owner of the animal. I told blank that I would document what she told me in my report, but would not interview blank. I blank also mentioned that she found a mutilated animal on then the date approximately 2 weeks ago. According to blank, it appeared that someone or a thing exposed the part of the animal by cutting the top head of the animal's skull. Said the mutilation animal might have been a rabbit. It appeared that both sides of the dogs were skinned. Wow. Um, it appeared to be precisely cut, possibly with a sharp tool. So this is where life pattern of an individual like Brian Koberger, you would want to find correlating behaviors of animals. In the homicidal triad, there are three things, right? Cruelty to animals, uresis, and fire starting. Okay, that's going to give you basically you're creating a homicide suspect there, and you don't need all three, but if you got two or three, that's a problem. It appeared that both sides, blah, blah, blah. It appeared precisely cut, possibly with a sharp tool. My understanding that Brian Koberger was a fish skinner for a while.
But
He,
we're not saying that he did this. We're just
no,
talking hypothetically about this.
right. But those are the kind of behaviors that you want to look for in an individual's past to say, hey, if somebody has cut an animal on both sides, uh, where does that learned behavior come from? Okay. Well, I don't know. People can do the math. The edges of the skin was still on the animal's remains were relatively straight as it was cut with a knife. Blah blah blah. The muscles were not disturbed or eaten. It did not appear the dog. This is kind of gross. It did not appear that the dog was attacked by predatory animals
Right. I
during
think
the.
they came to the conclusion, obviously, this was done by a human, by somebody.
Yeah. Um, it said during the interview, blank told me her friend found the dog first. I asked if I could get a blank phone number. According to blank, currently reside in Moscow, she could just have her come to the scene. At an unknown time, arrived at the scene with her son. So the lady who brought a boy. I interviewed both, and according to blank, let the dog out at approximately 0200 hours at approximately on October 20th, 2022.
Okay, so
So,
we know that that was the woman's husband because she said that in many interviews
okay.
that yeah, that he let the dog out at 2 in the morning.
And there's also somebody there with their son. Okay. So maybe the RP came with her son. I don't know. Or maybe it's a suspicious person with her son. I don't know. It doesn't say, it's not clear. Said the dog usually came back, according to blank, said that the dog sprinted out of the house as if it saw something, attempting to find the dog. Uh, they attempted to find the dog, but it was unsuccessful. She then asked blank to come to her residence and help her find the dog because she had to go to Costco located in Clarkston, Washington. Blank arrived at the residence at approximately 13:54 hours and found the dog. So the RP left, the owner of the dog leaves, goes to Costco, calls a friend, hey, can you help me find Buddy? And she comes over and at 1:54 in the afternoon finds Buddy. According to blank, the dog was found approximately 80 feet southeast of the residence in the field. So my question is, this residence, is it near the road where the direction of travel BK may have taken? Just asking. Don't know. I don't know if it's connected. Definitely suspicious because the cops held it for
Mhm.
all this time. Okay. Said that the dog was found approximately 80 feet southeast of the residence in the field. Said that she saw a big bird around the dog. Blah, blah, blah. Uh, it was pretty gross. In the spot where they found the dog, also informing that she found a dog collar approximately 15 feet away from the dog's remains. So now that's definitely human. Somebody took the dog's collar off, threw it approximately 15 feet from where the dog was found. I asked both blank and blank if they had any game cameras or security cameras around the scene. They said they did not. I asked blank if there were any neighbors nearby who could have harmed the dog. Blank said they could not think of anybody. So they don't have a specific suspect in mind. Okay. The owners of the dog. But the owners of the dog are saying, I let the dog out. He usually comes back. He didn't come back. The next morning, I had to go to Costco. I called a friend. My friend came over. She found the dog. Boom. Okay. I took pictures of the animal in the scene. I gave written statements to both blank and blank. I asked them to fill out the statement and drop them off the Latah County Sheriff's Office. They said they would. On an unknown date and time, blank left me a voicemail. She said an unknown suspect then damaged her mailbox. According to blank, her mailbox was made of metal and there was a dent in it. Blank said the mailbox was still usable, but difficult to open or close the lid. So basically, she had a secondary incident of vandalism to her mailbox after the dog was recovered. And this report was written on November 3rd. And then it was closed on the 8th.
I thought that piece of it was kind of interesting, Chris, because it was included in the initial report, even though the deputy says, hey, she contacted me later and told me she had damage to the mailbox. I would have liked to have known more information. Did somebody walk up and take a baseball bat to her mailbox? Did it look like it could have been maybe a vehicle backed into it? What? Because when I saw it, I thought, well, is it connected to this at all? And it's inconclusive. We don't know. The deputy thought it was enough, potentially connected. He put it in the report. But again, we just don't know enough information about that. And I would say at this point, again, Moscow PD, the official word from them from the beginning was that this dog skinning case was not connected to the student murders. My question is, okay, then why did they hold the report for 3 years and not release it? And to your point, Chris, I think it would be a fascinating piece of information to know if BK's car had ever driven by this home or was ever placed anywhere near this particular incident. And I don't know if we're ever going to know that.
Yeah, and because it will be a correlation, just like the last video that was released, the ticket. It just happened to be some of the phone pings went to the 1122 address while he's also getting a ticket the same evening. So maybe he's out and maybe he runs across the dog. We don't know. For some reason, law enforcement authorities held it, and we wanted to share that information with you this evening. So anyway, thank you everybody for being with us. And we're going to go to Hawaii. Aloha.
Hard working every day, I'm stressed out 24/7, babe. No timeouts, wish we could fly away. You and I go to our favorite place. Oh yeah, make special memories together. I'll be your company now and forever. I say we fly away, you and me, go to our favorite place. Feeling the sun on my face in Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. I need a summer breeze, some fresh air to put my mind at ease. No cares. You wanna come with me? Me and you go to our favorite tree. Are you ready now? We jump on a plane now. We're taking away. Yeah, we're taking away. Don't hesitate now. We're taking away. Yeah, we're taking away. We'll never come down. We're going away. Yeah, we're going away. You and me. Feeling the sun on my face in a